If you've ever been told that your opinion on a certain issue is automatically invalid because of your identity, so things like your race, your ethnicity, etc., then this video is for you. You can just make the points that I'm making in this video to explain why such a position is irrational, or you can just send them this video. Help the channel out. Anyway, let's begin. Now, in this following section, I'm just going to lay out all that has happened so far in this interaction. I think it's important, but if you're not interested, you can skip ahead using the timestamps or the chapter markers in the YouTube timeline. About a month ago, I made a response video to a popular YouTuber known as ThoughtSlime. In ThoughtSlime's video, he says that sustainable hunting is okay when done by indigenous peoples. In my video, I explained why such a position is irrational and speciesist. Today, I want to address a different aspect of his video, the part where he says that if you disagree with him, you're probably just a racist.
If you disagree with that, you're probably just a racist.
I recently saw on Twitter that ThoughtSlime was still considering responses to his video. Unfortunately, he probably missed my video as he was only addressing white commenters. I'm paying him the compliment of assuming that he would not intentionally misrepresent the criticism of his video as being entirely from whites, that he would not intentionally ignore a marginalized voice given how big of a fan he is of listening to marginalized voices. Since he won't listen to whites, I tweeted to him, "I'm not white." And this was his response. Now, this kind of behavior is just all too common for people who continuously bang on about listening to marginalized voices. They only listen to marginalized voices as long as those marginalized voices agree with them. Now, I don't think my identity affects the validity of my points, obviously. But I do know that some people do think that my identity affects the validity of my points. So I would like to tell you who I am, my sort of group identities, to shut those people down before they even start up. Again, if you're not interested, you can skip ahead using the chapter markers. I'm Indian, and I live in India. Now, as you might know, India is one of the worst victims of white colonialism. British colonialists killed about 35 million Indians during the colonial era. They also reduced India from being one of the richest economies in the world to the poster child of global poverty, reducing India's contribution to global GDP from 23% in 1800 to just over 3% in 1947 when the British left. Now, I'm not just any kind of Indian. I'm Northeast Indian. And Northeastern India is a marginalized section of India. Now, I'm not just any kind of Northeastern Indian. I'm the descendant of an indigenous tribe in Northeastern India, which is marginalized within Northeastern India. Now, make of that information what you will, but I do want you to note that I'm not a settler. That contrary to a belief held by many Westerners, progressives, conservatives, right-wingers, left-wingers, and so on, there is a whole world outside the West. Anyway, if you're the kind of person who plays identity politics and dismisses opinions on the basis of identities, right, that doesn't work on me, even by your own framework. So I would urge you to engage with my arguments instead of pointing at who I am, what my identity is, and so on. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, a sub to the channel and a like on this video would be engaging. So the first problem with saying that a point is automatically valid if made by a marginalized person or automatically invalid if made by a privileged person is the fact that marginalized people do not agree with each other. For example, if a brown person says that something is not racist, there will almost definitely be another brown person who says that very thing is racist, even if that thing is quite clearly not racist. Whom do you listen to then? Now, some people like to respond to that by saying that we should listen to what most of the marginalized group says, that we should listen to the majority within the minority. Now, aside from the obvious irony of preferring the majority over the minority. The problem with such reasoning is that if you're committed to saying that we should listen to what most of the marginalized group has to say, then consider the fact that Indians are in the global context marginalized, and most Indians support a right-wing government in India. Now, if you're the kind of progressive who supports this notion of supporting the majority within a marginalized group, then you're committed to supporting a right-wing government in India. And I'm pretty sure you would not be very comfortable doing that. The second problem with saying something like, if a POC says something is racist, then it is racist, is that you're holding whom you refer to as POC to a lower intellectual standard. If a white person makes a claim, you ask them for a justification. If someone of literally any other race makes that same point, you just take it for granted. When you do that, you're treating everyone who isn't white, the people whom you refer to as POC, as being incapable of defending their opinions. And that's racist. Now, some people like to say that if you don't have the lived experience of a certain issue, you don't really understand that issue. Now, that is true in a lot of cases. But when that is the case, which is to say when someone doesn't understand an issue because of who they are, they will make a flawed argument because they don't understand the issue. Point out the flaw in their argument. Tell them, look, here's what you're not understanding, or here's what you're missing. You can even say, look, you might not have gotten this wrong, or you might not have missed this crucial aspect if you were belonging to this identity group. And that's fine. But if someone makes an argument and there is no flaw in their argument, it is indicative of the fact that they did understand that issue, despite who they are. And in that scenario, it makes absolutely no sense to say that your opinion is invalid because of who you are. If there is a flaw in their argument, point it out. Bottom line is, engage with people's arguments, not with who they are. By the way, if you would like to engage more deeply with my channel and receive early access to my videos, as well as vote on which videos I make, click this link. Do be sure to leave a comment with your thoughts. I'll be in the comment section for a while after publishing this video, and I'll see you there.